out with a narrow field today. What kind of challenges did it present, maybe playing on that narrow surface there in New York?
It just makes the game a little more of a bang-bang game, allows you to press a little bit more, which they like to do at their home field. Field's also short, so we wanted to just get our guys used to just, the tighter confines.
Could you feel them start to adjust a little bit today, or is that just
Yeah,
one of those
yeah,
things?
yeah. I mean, it's still going to take some time to adjust when they actually get on the field because you don't get the practice on the field beforehand. But I think the adjustment will come, and that today was just a little taste of it.
Dylan Remick, his long throw sort of led to the goal on Sunday. Is he practicing those for the narrow surface as well this weekend?
We'll see. We'll see. We'll probably talk about that on Saturday in Saturday's training.
Did you manage to avoid the CCL score until you wanted to know it?
Yes. I was able. I had promised I was going to take my wife and my daughter and my grandson out to dinner, so we did that, and my wife looked at the phone and would give me an "oh my god." so I knew. I said just tell me which game I should watch first, which is more interesting, and so I was able to watch the 2 games last night and watch New York as well. So I watched 3 games last night.
Do you see in New York City's sort of first-year plan anything like or separate from what you guys did in '09?
I mean, everybody tries to do the same thing. You want to be successful in your first year, and I think there's a lot of likenesses, in terms of they went after, a couple of good DPs. We brought in Montero, they brought in Villa. You're trying to get some homegrown guys as well, or not homegrown guys, but get guys in on the discovery. They got a mixed Diskerud, we got a Casey Keller, and so forth. Try to do well in the draft. They also have some people that are still around from their dispersal draft, the expansion draft. So they still have the Wingerts and the Grabba boys. He got some guys he was familiar with, which is sort of what we did with Evans and with Vianus being here when I got here. They were guys that I was familiar with, so that made it a little easier for me. But it's then it all depends how it works out. You need some confidence, you need some wins, and you go from there.
How much more of a challenge is it to build a team from scratch than to build on at least a foundation of having a minor league team and sort of having the infrastructure there?
I think it's tougher building from scratch, but even a minor league team, I think the subsequent minor league teams, the Vancouvers and the Portlands and Orlando, did more of a job where they actually brought guys into their minor league team in advance of the MLS season. You look at a lot of guys from Vancouver carried into that first year. It was less so in Seattle. They stayed with the team that they had and did less about bringing in guys. They tied up Sebastian Letou and tied up Sananasi, but outside of that, there wasn't really a lot of guys, that they weren't getting a guy from Europe and say, hey, will you play with our USL team for a year and then you'll move to the MLS team, which is what the other franchises did. But it's building a franchise is never easy. I've been through all phases now where I came into the league with the Galaxy, which was a good team but hadn't won anything, and we figured out how to win things, and then I went to Columbus where it was a bad team, and wasn't doing well, and we found our way into a championship, and now I've done it where you started with a team from scratch. So they've all been interesting projects. They're all different, they're all fun, they're all challenging, but certainly building a team from scratch it requires probably the most hours.
It's been a while now, but I don't think we've ever asked you. Do you know much about Minneapolis as a soccer market? Do you think that's a good spot for the league to go next?
I mean, it was a good market in the old NESL days. They used to draw some good crowds up there. When Freddie Goodwin was coaching up there, and they had the Minnesota Kicks, and Alan Merrick was playing, and so forth, and Ron Fucher, I think, was another player up there. So they had some big crowds, and I know we've been up there a couple of times, I think, with the Galaxy to play against the old USL team, the Minnesota team there. So we've been to, Blaine. They have one of the biggest soccer tournaments in the world there, always. So I think there's definitely soccer interest there for sure.